Game time, Brian. Hey, Mark, is that the guy coming on? Hey, Mark, you can bring DFW and the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and it won't matter. You haven't done dick in 30 years. The Pet Rock and the Chia Pet were more famous than Dallas in the last 25 years. Who are you kidding? The Chia Pet is more famous than the Cowboys in the last 30 years. The Chia Pet.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Rise and grind on this Wednesday hump day. Yes. Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody slept good. I slept, meh. Fell asleep okay, and then I kept waking up. You know how it is. Hope everybody's going to have a good hump day. We are off to work yet again. Wow, the weeds are looking good, man. The weeds are looking pretty solid. Thank you for the rain. I feel bad. Up parts of North Jersey, they do have some flooding prime time, but where I'm at down here in the south, where the soil is rich, farmland out here, beautiful. Blueberry capital of the world. Look it up. That's where we're at. Very nice here. I don't mind rain. I'm opposite of people. I like a good thunder shower. My little Daisy, not so much. Poor girl shakes and hides. I gotta know when it's gonna rain, thunder, and rain hard, and I gotta give her a calming chew. Yes. But anyway, we're circling back. Vinny Hagen. We're gonna get into it. The thumbnail will hold as we get closer to work. We do have the liquid gold in hand. We are back to the grind as far as getting my act together. Not putting that many carbs in me. Pause. Not a lot of carbs going in game time. We got a wedding coming up in September. So we need to get our act together. Maybe shed about 15 pounds. You know, some people can just sweat it off and act like it's going to stay off, or some people could just change their diet. Whatever works. Whatever works for you. I've learned that the only real way to lose weight consistently is watch the caloric intake. That's it. You can work out I work out all the time. Doesn't do that much if I'm eating cheese steaks and cheese fries and mott sticks. You know how it goes. But circling back, we'll start with Eagles, and then let's do around the league first. Jahdae Barron signed, first round pick. Love the player out of the University of Texas. I think he's ultimately going to be a slot corner, but love Jahdae Barron. It reminds me of a little bit better version of a Jordan Lewis coming out of college. Very much so. Not as physical, I don't think, but again, I'm not the film guy. Jahdae Barron signed with the Denver Broncos. They're starting to get their homework in. I like it. They're starting to check the boxes before they arrive at training camp next week. Who will Dallas sign? Will Donovan Ezerako be there? I would say so. I would say Donovan Easy Ezerako will stay there. As I stated yesterday, Shamar Stewart has come out and said, now I'm not saying that this isn't a ploy. I believe it is a ploy. Shamar Stewart, Texas A&M, has said he'll go back to college. He will go back to college or forego. I don't know if he could go back to college. Put in the comments. Can he play college? I don't think so. He could just sit out a year, correct? Once he says he's going pro and gets an agent, it's over, correct? But he is working out at the University of Texas A&M, trying to apply the pressure. He wants to get paid big time. And maybe that's why, again, Cincinnati, do your due diligence. Cincinnati going to pay him? Is Cincinnati going to pay him? I don't know. They still got their other defensive ends. Hendrickson saying, hey, don't forget about me. Don't forget about me. So stay tuned on that one. Now we'll touch on the one Eagle topic that we'll talk about. C.J. Gardner-Johnson was watching a little bit of the interview this morning. C.J. Gardner-Johnson basically said Eagles didn't want me because they don't want competition back there. They don't like his loud voice. You know, so I would just tell CJ it's kind of hard to CJ Gardner-Johnson, it's kind of hard to really say anything right now following our Super Bowl run. But listen, like I've said before, like the Eagles fans think this is going to last. Not for long. It's really the NFL. That's just the way it is. Not to say that you're going to have an extended period of downtime, because I'm not saying that, but, you know, it could easily go bad for you this year. And C.J. Gardner-Johnson saying, well, if I was there, you know, a leader, you don't want a leader. You want a guy that's going to fall in line. And I speak my mind. So I guess Eagles rolled the dice, right? Because they got Reed Blankenship. I think that's why you're hearing eventually they want to move Cooper DeJean to safety. They said it again 2 weeks ago. So that they see him, he's getting reps at safety as well as slot. So I think the ultimate goal is to slide him and Mikuba to be back there. But whatever. I mean, C.J. Gardner-Johnson was one of those guys who was always around the football. So it's a gamble on the Eagles' part. So we shall see. They liked him so much that they went and reacquired him after getting into a contract squabble, and he went to Detroit. Then they brought him back again. So obviously they like the player, but not enough for his antics or whatever's going on. So only time will tell on that one. And now the thumbnail, Vinny, Oscar, Clemente. This is what we want to talk about. The trolls. Even Eagle Wade yesterday. It was kind of annoying. You know, again, he has to come up with something new. You know, I understand what he's saying, but just to rehash the same stuff over and over when we're approaching training camp. Again, Joe Milton, learn the player first before you start talking about how great he's going to be. He's about as raw as they come. Teams don't give up on quarterbacks, young quarterbacks, if they think that they're going to be the next Tom Brady or Cam Newton, for that matter. Because that's the kind of talent you're talking when it comes to Cam Newton. Timu Cam Newton. Now, he's got a stronger arm than Cam. He's probably more athletic than Cam. But playing the football position resides between the ears. That's where the game is won or lost ultimately. And he has to learn a new offense, Joe Milton. So my question to people that I want to leave in the comment is, do you believe that Joe Milton really is a threat to Dak Prescott this year, barring injury? Dak stays healthy. Is Joe Milton staying in the field? Okay? I mean, the same narrative that Dak was off to a slow start. Just to let you know, Wade, when Dak starts tearing it up this year, I'm not going to allow you back on. All right? You are not going to be allowed on the Dak. I've never I criticized Dak Prescott in the regular season when healthy. Never. And if you do, you're going to lose. I've won many of fantasy leagues waiting until round 4, 5, and 6. 4 or 5 to get Dak Prescott because nobody wants him because Cowboys, this and that. He won't put up yards. Okay? He put up over 4,500 yards the last healthy season he played. So, 36 touchdowns. Remember, against Lamar? So, and Lamar won. Nine interceptions all year. 36 touchdowns. 4,500 yards. Some quarterbacks may never see them numbers. He will put up numbers. And he will put up wins. If the team is horrible, he'll put up numbers and they'll get lost. I mean, Dak Prescott he's making too much money to sit. Now, I want to hear all the arguments that Dak is cooked. That's not the question. That's not the question whether you think Dak's a choker in the playoffs. That has nothing to do with it. Nothing. That's why I was telling Momo that this preseason is huge for Joe Milton. Primetime Phil's guy, Will Greer. It is huge. It's huge. 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 I can't do it. I don't have enough liquid gold in me. I got the ice version today. Huge. Huge. Anyway, I'm off. I'm a little congested. I got the air kicking now. I went with a long sleeve over my short sleeve because it gets really chilly in the post office. So stay tuned on that. We got news coming up very soon. Surprise, surprise. But yeah, so basically, do you think there's any shot Joe Milton takes over for Dak Prescott before the start of the season? What will it take for Joe Milton to supplant Dak? The only thing I personally see would be an injury. An injury is the only thing that could supplant Dak Prescott. Okay, they're going to give him a long leash. I understand he was off to a ho-hum start, but with this amount of weapons, guys fighting for contracts, Jake Ferguson is going to be full go. Whether they extend him ultra, I don't know. Only God knows whether that's going to happen. We could guess, but we don't know. My guess is if Dak has a stellar year, you know, if he's in the conversation for MVP, which I believe he will be, then if he's in that conversation, then I believe that means Jake Ferguson is having a big year. And I think they're going to re-sign Jake. Because I do believe the hype on Brevin Spanford is just that. I think he'll make the team. I think he'll be serviceable. He'll be a blocker. I think who I'm really curious, who I think has a decent upside, is Brevin Spanford. I mean not Brevin Spanford, Luke Schoonmaker. I think Schoonmaker has a big upside, but I think if Dak Prescott's going to be successful, they're going to have to run the football, but that's a different story. Run to set up the pass to set up the run. I think it's going to have to be pass to set up the run probably until they prove they can run consistently. But my opinion, for everybody who's saying that Dak is going to get benched, you're just not knowledgeable. You're not. Just follow the money. Dak, name the last year Dak, when he wasn't injured, had a bad year. I don't believe it. I don't believe that to be the case. So, I don't believe that to be the case. Let me see what's going on here. Clear! Poof. Poof. Yeah, baby, Logan. We back, baby. We back. We are back. And we are coming. Yes, we are. I mean, my hair's it's the humidity. Anyway, don't forget tonight. Tonight, don't forget, tonight we have the NFC East clash. I set it for 9 o'clock. Should have went 8:30. Put in the comments. Do you want it at 8:30 or leave it at 9? I can change it. I got to make sure I'm in and out. I got to be out by 11. I got to be out. But then, as long as I go home and nap, but no gym today. 2 days strong. I am so sore. Oh, man. Hurts so good. But, again, as we round it up, please let me know, what are the realistic odds, barring injury, that Joe Milton even is our number 2? Is it? Another question, is Joe Milton going to even be the number 2? I think so. I mean, I think he will be. That's why when it comes to Momo, I'm excited about this year's training camp because, I believe that he needs all the work. Will Greer, fine, but Joe Milton needs to get up to speed with the offense. Hope there's packages tailored towards him. I hope they don't try and fit one system under both, but that's easier for the young offensive lineman. I don't know. There's a lot to work through. But this whole Eagle way that Dak's fighting for his job is bullshit. Dak just signed a mega deal. He's got probably 2 years before he's even thought about leaving. I know some may say after this upcoming year. That's a big nut to swallow. And I could see possibly if Joe Milton was a beast, which is why we need to see more leaves fall, which is why we need to see him play a lot, Momo, which is why the preseason is important, which is why they went out and got all those offensive linemen that nobody's talking about. Yes, they're rotational guys. We got the offensive guard from Miami who has tackle flex that played all 17 games last year. So we have brought in pieces to actually get a good look in preseason, not to get the quarterback killed, be able to differentiate who is going to separate during training camp as far as running backs. So with that being said, I am out of here. Got to go to work. I got to go make the donuts. I'll talk to everybody later. Can't wait for tonight. NFC East clash. Loyal Cowboy. Loyal, if you want another picture, send me one of them logos. So, but I think you're I don't care, but I'm gonna text you a little bit. Loyal Cowboy, Chris Dooley tonight. I want Momo next week. Momo, you're on next week. Chris Dooley tonight. Loyal Cowboy, Rob A, and Jesse Montanez. I will talk to everybody later. Talk to you. Peace.
10 years ago, these markers weren't so purple, but now they're purple. Now they're really, really fucking purple. And it's alarming to me, and it's also enchanting to me to see the deep blue sea inside, this. Let's talk about buttered sausage. Talk about buttered sausage, where it comes from, what it does. Why is it doing what it's doing? Get it out of my face. Buttered sausage. It's not my jam. I don't buy jam. I buy honey, and I kiss it on the lips.